Good morning, campers. Welcome back. This is Ms. Jackson with another math video, and today we're going to continue with understanding place values, multiplying by 10, 100, and 1,000 from yesterday. Let's get to it. All right, so remember I told you we're going to use those same numbers from yesterday. So remember we had the numbers 740 and 4,720. So if the question asks you, how many times greater is the value of 4 in 4,720 than the value of 4 in 740? So what we want to do is compare the values of those two numbers and see, what is it increasing by? Is it increasing by 10, 100, or 1,000? So if you recall, this 4 was in the thousands place, right? So I'm just gonna put 1,000 to represent 1,000. And then we have this 4, which was in the tens place. Just gonna draw a little arrow and I'm gonna put a 10. So we had the thousands and the tens place. We wanna know how many times greater is this 4 compared to this 4 in 740. So another way to write this is 1,000 equals 10 times what? Okay, how many times, that's the question mark, greater tells us to multiply, is the value of this 4, which is, when you hear is in math, we use our equal symbol. That 4 was 1,000. It was in the thousandths place. Then the value of the 4 in 740, which was in the tens place. So we have to ask ourselves, 10 times what is going to give me 1,000? Now that's very simple, you all. Just look at our zeros. In 1,000, we have 1, 2, 3 zeros. In 10, over here on the right side, we have 1 0. How many more zeros do we need to make this number look like that? 2. Now, which number, 10, 100, or 1,000, have 2 zeros in it? 100. So the 4 in this number is 100 times greater than the value of the 4 in this number. Okay? So now we're going to look at that second example. All right, so now we're going to look at our second example. And this answer, I just scoot the paper down. We still have it here. We're going to record our second answer here. So we want to look at the bigger number first. I put the bigger numbers on the right. How many times? Another thing you need to understand is that the digit that we're looking at, it has to be the same digit. So I can't compare 2 and there's no 2 over here. It has to be the same digit. If we're trying to find out how many times greater the value of a number is in a specific number compared to another number, it has to be the same digits. All right, so in this number, our digit that we're comparing is 9. They have to be the same. There's a 9 here and there's a 9 here. This 9 is in the hundredths place. So 100, and then this 9 was in our ones place. Okay, so we want to know 100 is 1 times what number? How many times greater is 9, I'm sorry, in this number compared to 9 in that number? So let's ask ourselves, what can I multiply by 1 that would give me 100? And hopefully you know your multiples of 1, because anything times 1 is the number itself. So if I multiply 100 times 1, I will get 100. So the 9 in 14,928 is 100 times greater the value of the 9 in 349. So this 9 is 100 times greater the value of the 9 in 349. All right, and our last example from yesterday. Okay, so our last example from yesterday, we had 852, 18,604. So our 8 in this number, remember how we have to be comparing the same digits. We're looking at the 8. 8 over here was in the thousands place. Okay, and then the 8 in this number, 852, was in the hundreds place. So we want to know how many times greater. When you have that how many is your question mark, times greater is the value of this, is our is equal the value of this 8, which was in the thousands. Bring your thousand down. Then the value of the 8 in 852, which was in our hundreds place. So we need to ask ourselves, I like the zero method because all we need to do is see how many more zeros do I need. If I have 3 zeros here on the left side of my equal sign and 2 zeros here on the right side of my equal sign, how many more zeros do I need to make both of the sides of our equal sign balance? If I multiply by 10, which has one more zero, 100 times 10 will give me 1,000, which will make 1,000 on my left side of my equal sign and 1,000 on the right side of my equal sign. So the equation is balanced. So the 8 in 18,604 is 10 times greater than the 8 in 852. Okay, so all we're doing is looking at our place values, understanding the values of those digits, and figuring out how many times greater is that number compared to another number. Okay, hopefully this method helped you. If not, I'll be right back at you tomorrow explaining this again in a different way. Don't forget, believe in yourself.